So welcome back to another Kei and Bill's video, and more specifically a Kei Truck video. So for those of you who are new, this is our 1986 Honda Acti or Kei Truck, and we have recently mounted in a Honda Fireblade motorbike engine in. This is the loom for the Honda Fireblade motorbike. Obviously it is fairly short, as motorbikes are quite short. We wasn't sure really which route to go down, but we've kind of made a decision and think it's probably easiest for us to somehow modify this loom and get everything on the truck working from this loom. As motorbikes are a lot shorter than the truck, we are going to have to extend a lot of things here and there, but as you can see, this is quite the mess. We have previously put the Honda Fireblade motorbike standard clocks into our dashboard. We did make a video on that, so make sure to go and check it out if you want to see that. So what the plan is to connect everything back to the engine, essentially be able to start the engine, and that way we know we have everything engine wise in one position. I'm going to have to remove these clocks as they're still connected to the wiring, and that will also give us a good indicator that things like the rev gauges and all that are all reading correctly. So the clocks are now removed, pretty straightforward, just a couple of bolts. All we're going to do next is simply start to wire everything back up to the engine. So I may have to put the battery on charge as it may be fairly flat. I did label everything a good while ago, but hopefully everything is still labeled and none of the labels have fallen off, so it should be fairly straightforward to get all of these wires connected back up to the engine. So let's just give it a go and see what we can get done. So off a first attempt, I've managed to plug 90% of things in. There's just a couple of things we have to figure out, but I have to check the Haynes manual. One of the big tips I would say in doing any of this, or if you have a car in general, is to get a Haynes manual for your car if you have one. You can buy them online, so you can get a digital version as well. They highlight a load of things. As you can see, this is all engine and clutch and transmission section, but for us, this one here, as you can see, this is our complete wiring diagram for the bike. So all I got to do now is check these. So all I got to do now is check the wiring on there and just check a few of the plugs and see what I'm missing. So there's only a couple I'm missing. This one here I know goes to this plug, as this is the coolant temp sensor, but I'm not sure which one that is, so I have to check that. I have to earth this back up, and the last thing I have to do, this was the makeshift ignition that we created, but as you can see, two of the wires have come undone, so I'm just going to have to connect them into the correct ones. There are a lot of miscellaneous plugs as well. There's like side stands connectors which won't be plugged in because obviously we don't have a side stand. We're not really going to wire any of the lights in this video. This is mainly going to be getting the wiring tidied up for the engine and more towards the dashboard and the clocks, and maybe getting like the ignition switches and all that tidied up. We're gonna have to revisit all the lighting later down the line because we don't know if we're gonna do everything completely new, putting LED bulbs and stuff like that in, so we'll just end up wiring it all ourselves anyway, but we can use a lot of the wiring on there, but for the time being that's just being ignored. So after doing a bit of work, I've double checked everything and it now works. I don't know if you can see the light in the corner there. That is the neutral switch. So if I use our gearing, which we did in the last episode, so we basically essentially got a sequential gearing now on our Kei Truck. In the last episode we made all this gearing linkages so that we can use the gear stick to pull back and push forward to change the gears. So if I pull back on this now, as you can see, the light's gone off, and we also can't rotate the adapter which is going on for the prop shaft. So if I go back half a click now, because that should be either be first or second. Now it's all in neutral, everything wired together. I can't remember which one is the actual start and which one is the kill switch, but now if I put them both on briefly, you can see it tries to start. In order for us to start it, the next thing we got to do is get these carbs on, so let's get them on. Carbs are also now on. The only thing left to do now is add some sort of fuel. This is what we used previously. This obviously isn't going to be our fuel tank down the line, but this will just give us a temporary fix just so we can get this running with all the wires connected. So let's get the fuel on it and fingers crossed it will start. So just as a quick catch up, we have the clocks. As you can see, hopefully the rev gauges will work. Speedo, obviously we're not going anywhere, and the coolant gauge should work, but we can't really warm this up to temperature enough yet as we have no coolant. We also have everything else wired up. The carbs are also plugged in, and we have just added some fill. So hopefully if we add or turn the fill on, it will take a little bit for the carbs to fill up. Now we can try and see if this actually starts. It won't start straight away. It'll probably take a bit of a while for the pressure to build up and fill up the carbs, but let's just see how it goes. Just like that, our engine is back up and running for the time being. We still have absolutely loads to work, and we've got to sort this mess of wiring out. So you need to forgive the fact that it is sounding terrible. One, there's no exhaust, and two, there's no vacuum lines or anything like that, so it doesn't really run properly. It won't run properly without an exhaust anyway, even if everything else was set up perfectly. So we've got to deal with all that later down the line. But what we can do now is really start to tidy all of this up. There's a lot of things we have to mount, but a lot of the wiring, hopefully now we can hide and tuck away. The whole engine harness would essentially come into one connector. We can disconnect the whole engine, and then what we have going into the sort of engine bay as such will be one bulky wire splitting off onto the engine. Same for the front. What we'd like to do is, once we extend the wiring underneath the truck, is add one bulkhead connector further back there. What we'd essentially do then is all of the dash and all the wiring for the front end of the truck will be removable by one connector. So what we've got to do now is figure out everything that is engine wiring and separate it out. I might get some tape, mark it up, and then we can extend it all and make sure it all runs into one cable or one area with multiple connectors, just so everything is tidied up. What I'll also do is mark everything that is going to be front end, and then we'll have a couple of wires going to the back end for the tail lights. But I think to tackle all of this mess, the first thing I've got to do is mount the battery. We're not really sure if this battery is going to be big enough for things like the compressor later down the line, but it's what we go to work with and is what we're going to mount for now. So I'm only going to make a brief bracket to mount it into the truck. Probably makes most sense to mount the battery underneath one of the seats. It probably makes most logical sense to start with the battery and move through the wiring harness as we go. So let's get this battery in. So I've cut a few pieces, recycled some stuff, and I kind of have a mock-up ready, but it's a bit hard work to video in the cab, so let me show you the idea. A piece of box section, as you can see, I've cut one side off, but I have tapered it so that this ledge here, what will happen, that piece there will be welded onto there. This is an old piece of quite sort of 3-4 mil thick material which I have used, which fits perfectly for the battery, and that will then get bolted onto the piece that's going to get welded to the chassis using the existing holes that are already there. What I also may do is add some supports which go down just to take the weight to this end, and then the battery will sit on the bracket. We're not going to cut this excess off yet. As I said, we may upgrade to a bigger battery, so if I can leave that platform and keep it bigger for a bigger battery, that's ideal. If not, we may have to remount a bigger battery later down the line. I'm not really going to make a clamping system yet, again for the reason of we may get a bigger battery, but for the time being, that's where the battery's going to sit. So all I'm going to do is add some captive nuts, then I'm going to weld the piece in, and then we can bolt the new battery tray into place. That is the battery tray now welded in. As you can see, it is really solid. It's only got a couple of tacks on it for the time being, but it will be welded up eventually. And now all that happens, the battery can now sit by there. All we're going to do for now is just kind of leave it there. We may tie it down or just tape it down for the time being, so we'll come back and make some sort of strapping system that goes over the top. But we know where the position of the battery is now going to live. Taking a brief look at the wiring harness now, there's a couple of things we may be able to mount into the cab. One being the ECU. Obviously we want this out of the weather, and there is a rubber casing which we might try and utilize to just slide the ECU into place. We also have the regulator rectifier, and the only other main thing then to go in the cab is the fuse box. So just gonna have a little look around now to see roughly where we want each of these pieces to go. I might try and get it all together. First thing I'm going to do is mount the ECU. All I'm going to do is add 2 pieces to the chassis which these rubbers can slide onto. This hasn't really got to be bolted down. The rubbers will be enough. I should have some material which will slide through them nicely and it will just slide into place. It's not really going to move. There's barely any weight to it at all, but let's get this into the cab. So I've now mounted in the 2 ECU mounts. This is the ECU, and all that will do now is just slide onto the mounts. What I'm going to have to do is round the edges off, as there are a couple of sharp edges. It makes it a little bit awkward to get them on. With a bit of persuasion, the ECU is mounted. So I have left it off the base of the cab a little bit. That's really solid. It does move, allows for a little bit of play, but that will take some doing to get off with the friction, as there is a rubber casing on the ECU as well. So it's not like it's going to fall or anything. The next piece I think I'm going to tackle is the bike's regulator rectifier. So that is this piece here. It's just like some sort of control unit or something. It is bare on the bottom. I have a feeling this has to be grounded. So in order to mount the regulator rectifier, I think I'm going to mount it around here. For now, I think I'm just going to drill some holes, grind down a little bit of the chassis for the time being, and just nut and bolt it into the chassis. And then when we come to going underneath the truck, I think I'll just weld the bolts to the chassis, and then all we have to do is take the nuts off and it should slide off. So this one should be fairly straightforward. Just going to line it up so it doesn't clash with the ECU, but let's get the regulator rectifier in. And lastly, that is the regulator rectifier now into the cab as well. So we've put the battery in, the ECU and the regulator rectifier. The only thing we have left to do is the fuse box. We're going to cover that in the part 2 of the wiring of this truck. We have a long job. We have one hell of a job at wiring this truck, but we now can start to get the basis of getting things into position, and then we can extend and shorten the wiring as and where we please. What I'm probably going to have to do is lie the wiring out on the floor, kind of figure out roughly which corners of the cab and front and back or wherever the wiring needs to go, and then we can go from there. But as we said, we have the battery into place. We're also waiting for a kill switch which we want to add in, and a voltage meter to tell us the voltage of the battery. So all of that will be in the next episode. But that is it for this video. Just looking at this, you can understand why every car person hates wiring. It is a bit of a task in itself, but it's easier if you have things like a wiring diagram. So I've had one printed out which is a bit bigger just to make it a little bit easier. But you can work through a wiring diagram, follow the colours, just work through it methodically, and it makes life a lot easier. Now we have some components mounted into the cab, it should be easier for us to now start to plug things in, extend wires where we need to. As we said previously, generally the bike harness is probably just over 1 meter long, as bikes aren't very long, so we're going to have to extend and shorten things a lot on the truck. Make sure to go and drop subscribe so you can see the future progress on the truck. We have a lot to do with the wiring. We have coolant systems to go in. We also have to put this on air suspension. Recently we mounted in the engine. If you want to see how that went in, make sure to go and check out. And we've recently put in our sequential gearing system, and we had to make all sorts of levers and things for that as well. I don't know how exciting wiring can be. I hope you've enjoyed the video, but we will catch you in the next one.